Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. The establishment of the Blade River sect near Huyang City was a huge celebration across dozens of primal chaos prefectures. Countless cultivators were excited, and some eternal true gods from both Sha Kingdom and Yu Kingdom rushed to join the Blade River sect. A sect established by godly King Luo He. Luo He, the absolute best in the primal chaos realm, and upon becoming a godly king, could immediately rival the master of the Sha Kingdom. Cultivators from the dozens of primal chaos prefectures nearby, who didn't know of the master of the Sha Kingdom's tyranny. Over the long years, Sha Kingdom had been eroding and annexing the surroundings, even giving Yu Kingdom a tough time. Luo Feng's battle with the master of the Sha Kingdom, even forcibly taking 10 primal chaos prefectures from Sha Kingdom, had already proven his dominance. Otherwise, why would the master of the Sha Kingdom cede 10 primal chaos prefectures? With the establishment of the Blade River sect, the first recruitment of disciples brought in 1508 eternal true god level disciples, over 30,000 true god of void space level disciples, and the selection for true god level disciples was extremely strict, also bringing in more than 50,000 of them, Yuan said. Morosa also said, "We've tried to raise the bar as high as possible, but too many cultivators came to participate. The number is more than I expected," Luo Feng said. With the sect just established and still running with some flaws, the first recruitment was intended to be controlled as much as possible with very high standards, but the number of selected disciples ended up being multiple times more than estimated. Mainly because, aside from our 20 primal chaos prefectures, too many cultivators from the surrounding Sha Kingdom and Yu Kingdom rushed over, Yuan said. Neither the master of Sha Kingdom nor the monarch of Yu country have established sects. Only the most elite and brilliant eternal true gods in their countries are invited to become their disciples. The numbers are really too few. Luo Feng nodded. Initially, since he was outstanding enough, he even received an invitation from the monarch of Yu country, who wanted to recruit him as a disciple. How many could reach such brilliance? For the master of Sha Kingdom and the monarch of Yu country, having disciples isn't that significant, Luo Feng said. For them, at their level, the numerous resources brought by the state were chiefly for their family, for their subordinates. They cared more about some resources left behind by Yuan, more about their own cultivation of the primordial bloodline. This time, our recruited disciples, about 1/3 of them are from our 20 primal chaos prefectures, Yuan said. From now on, I'll leave the affairs of the sect to you too, Luo Feng said with a smile. Rest assured, Morosa immediately responded. Yuan nodded. Though both seemed to be from the primal chaos realm, Morosa was actually at the godly king level, and they were sufficiently capable of managing the regular affairs of the sect. We might also need you, Luo He, to give some disciple quotas, Yuan said. Registered disciple quotas will suffice. It will make the sect's disciples strive even harder. Luo Feng nodded. Start with 10 registered disciple quotas, and 1 direct disciple quota. That's enough, Yuan nodded. Upon hearing this, Morosa felt a surge inside. Master is recruiting a second direct disciple. Qingyan's status might not be so stable soon. This young man, who is cultivating the bloodline cultivation system under my personal guidance, with resources provided, has only managed to discern 1 primal chaos realm movement technique so far. He's far too far from reaching the primal chaos realm. Like the previously mentioned divine monarch Shui Yun, who mastered many primal chaos realm movement techniques, and even formed a complete system. I need to push him hard, Morosa decided firmly, aware that with the sect's broad recruitment of disciples, in the future, both direct and registered disciples would possess high talents. Only by becoming a primal chaos realm cultivator, and leveraging his status as the top disciple could Moyu Qingyang secure his position. Otherwise, even as the top disciple, being just an eternal true God, he would eventually be marginalized among the other disciples. The establishment of the Blade River sect in Huyang City, and across the Sha Kingdom and New Country, was considered a major event. However, in the whole land of origin, it hardly caught any attention, as the Blade River sect barely qualified even as a second-rate power. In terms of territory and the overall strength of the sect, they were too weak. Only the sect's master, godly King Luo He, was considered a local overlord. In the blink of an eye, it had been half an era since the establishment of the Blade River sect. Emperor Gui Shu has invited me to the treasured Dream Domain. Luo Feng, who had been in retreat, was intrigued by an invitation from the Reincarnation Tower and promptly used his token to project his thought to that tower. In the ethereal assembled loft, Luo Feng, since becoming an official member of the Reincarnation Tower, had visited several times. After becoming a godly king, he had also received several call-to-action invitations, but Luo Feng had declined them all. Brother Luo He called out a towering figure in the Reincarnation Tower, the recruiter this time, Emperor Gui Shu, with a welcoming smile. Luo He. Another figure, a one-eyed woman clad in a pale green robe exuding a slightly sinister aura, was Cloud Sky God King, also in the first realm of Godly King, and in the entire Reincarnation Tower. Only she and Luo Feng were in the first realm of Godly King. Luo Feng casually sat down and asked, "Who else is coming?" "Wuxin God King will be here shortly," Emperor Gui Shu said. Luo Feng nodded. Just a few breaths later, a young man entered with a smile. "Brother Gui Shu, are there any other members?" "Just the four of us this time," Emperor Gui Shu said with a smile. "Brother Luo He rarely makes an appearance. It's truly rare that he accepted the invitation this time. This is the first time Brother Luo He is willing to take action since coming to the Reincarnation Tower." Wuxin God King also said, "Brother Luo He has been busy lately, just became a godly king, fought with the Emperor of Tiankuan, and now has established a sect." "Just finished being busy," Luo Feng said. "Establishing a sect actually adds a burden," the one-eyed woman, Cloud Sky God King, said from the side. "If a big disaster is stirred up in the future, the sect could become a weakness." Emperor Gui Shu said, "Brother Luo He and us are different. He excels in the clone technique and cultivates multiple great Daos. His life-saving methods are much stronger. Even if he stirs up big trouble, how many would be willing to pursue him to the death? I've come to realize that in the land of origin, the ability to protect oneself is more important than the ability to kill. Right?" Wuxin, the godly king, also nodded in agreement. "The two of you still think your life-saving measures are weak." The one-eyed lady, Cloud Sky Godly King, shook her head speechlessly. In his past life, Emperor Gui Shu had died from an encirclement by 3 emperors, yet he still managed to reincarnate in time. Wuxin, the godly king, had comparable strength to Emperor Gui Shu head-on, but possessed greater escape abilities. The flame-wind ancient country had attempted to kill him numerous times, and each time Wuxin successfully escaped. Later, for the sake of his own clan, he deliberately allowed himself to be reincarnated amidst the encirclement. After reincarnating, he hid in the shadows, and the flame-wind ancient country couldn't locate him through causality. Instead, they feared him even more and dared not easily strike against Wuxin's clan members. Keeping one's clan is a form of constraint. The flame-wind ancient country learned their lesson. A godly king with nothing to lose and full of hatred poses a great threat. Initially, the 3 emperors believed they could completely annihilate Emperor Gui Shu when they killed his wife, children, clan, and even all creatures in the entire city. But Emperor Gui Shu's methods were stronger than they anticipated, and despite handing over his secret treasure, he still managed to withstand their combined deadly move momentarily, long enough to reincarnate. After reincarnating, Emperor Gui Shu used every method at his disposal, particularly targeting the new godly kings of the flame-wind ancient country. Those who had just broken through were relatively weaker. Emperor Gui Shu, exploiting his advantage over the weaker ones, exhausted all means to assassinate them, even erasing their resurrection mediums. To this day, he has thoroughly eradicated 7 or 8 godly kings of the flame-wind ancient country. This caused great pain to the flame-wind ancient country. Let's talk business. Emperor Gui Shu sat down. This time, I plan to go to the treasure land dream domain, and I've invited all members. Those willing to come are just the 4 of us. Yuan left behind multiple treasure sites in the land of origin. Some require quotas. Others are open to everyone. But because there are no restrictions, the thresholds are extremely high. Powerful forces will try to monopolize them, and the only way to get in is to fight your way in. Dream Domain. Luo Feng was naturally aware of this treasure site's information. With my strength, I can't fight my way in. If I get in through a relationship with the flame-wind ancient country, I'd have to work under them. This is the price of being a guest elder. Want to get in? The flame-wind ancient country can allow it, but you must complete many missions. Even the treasures obtained, the lion's share goes to the imperial clan. Usually, it's the 3 of us who act together. Emperor Gui Shu laughed. This time we have Brother Luo He with us, so it's much easier. Many dangerous situations can be handled by asking Brother Luo He for assistance. Leave it to me, Luo Feng nodded. Scouting hazards could be assigned to weaker avatars. From now on, the 4 of us will act together, Emperor Gui Shu said. Cloud Sky Godly King will be responsible for the domain. Wuxin and I will handle powerful enemies, while Brother Luo He will take care of scouting. Previously scouting was all up to me, Wuxin, the Godly King, cheerfully interjected. I am good at escaping, but I have only one true body. Once I encounter big trouble, I can't even escape. Now it's better with Brother Luo He, his scouting is far superior to mine. Because the avatars dispatched by Luo Feng didn't care about escaping. Do the other members usually not participate? Luo Feng asked. Wuxin, the Godly King, replied, Wind Capital and Earth Godly King, both of them are powerful enough to rival emperors and monarchs. Unless it's something incredibly important, they wouldn't participate. To them, we are not just unhelpful, but rather a burden. Luo Feng nodded. Empress Wind Capital is well respected, having never caused friction with various forces. Although the Earth Godly King fights fiercely with the Thunder Ancient Country, he always acts alone. Great Freedom Sovereign is the highest power in the Wanjie Kingdom, second only to the Lord of 10,000 Realms. He is a direct disciple of the 10,000 Realms Lord, has high status and power, and generally lacks nothing in terms of resources. He does not usually join in ordinary activities, Wuxin, the Godly King, explained. Tian Kuan Emperor also, being a direct disciple of the primogenitor Yang Feng, normally does not participate. As for Black Fire Demon Lord, commanding a major power, he won't easily involve himself. Only the top resources of the land of origin can attract those 3, Wuxin chuckled. Me, Gui Shu, and Sister Cloud Sky, we all operate independently, which is why we often act together. Now we have Brother Luo He added to the mix. Emperor Gui Shu laughed heartily. Although Brother Luo He also commands a force, he does have many avatars after all. Our team has become stronger, Wuxin expressed his satisfaction. It's thanks to Brother Gui Shu and Brother Wuxin leading me. I am the weakest in the team, the green-garbed one-eyed lady said. Luo Feng also said, this is my first mission, and I'm not very familiar with it. So please feel free to speak up about anything. Brother Luo He is too polite. Emperor Gui Shu still valued Luo Feng greatly. Having become a godly king so impressively, what level could he achieve in the future? He would definitely be a great asset on his path of revenge. Perhaps now Luo he is reluctant to conflict with the flame-wind ancient country. But by utilizing Luo he to obtain more treasure land resources and strengthen himself, this too is a form of cooperation. For the treasure land dream domain, we need Emperor Gui Shu and Emperor Wuxin to fight our way in. Luo Feng also understood that Emperor Gui Shu and Emperor Wuxin definitely ranked among the pinnacle of the second realm of Godly King, stronger than the Emperor of Tiankuan. To reach this level within the normal Godly King's second realm was already the limit. To advance further, to the level of Emperor or Monarch. According to the known methods on the land of origin. Either by mastering the complete origin Great Tao, like the Lord of 10,000 Realms. Or by cultivating into an ultimate realm life form, like the emperors and monarchs of the two ancient countries, which requires immensely vast resources. Or by possessing extraordinary talents, like Empress Wind Capital and the Master of Yunhe, who cultivate multiple great Taos and practice powerful legacies. Only then can one rival that level. If no one has any objections, then let's meet at Huang Yao Mountain in 3 days, Emperor Gui Shu proposed. Huyang City, city owner's mansion, in the Star Tower of the underground quiet room. 2 Luo Fengs sat cross-legged, one being a perfect divine body, the other a world life form. After such an extended period, Luo Feng's perfect divine body, drawing energy from his small universe, had long since returned to a state of perfection. The energy reserve of the world life form had also reached 60% of the perfect divine body. Blood Shadow Knife. Luo Feng with the perfect divine body held the Blood Shadow Knife, its surface manifesting secret patterns, containing an endless aura of destruction. As of now, I have grasped 3 strikes of the Chaos Whole 6 strikes, and all 3 secret techniques have already been integrated into the Blood Shadow Knife. Luo Feng looked at the Blood Shadow Knife. After all, the Blood Shadow Knife is a weapon of slaughter, its cultivation centers around the path of destruction. In terms of slaughtering, the path of destruction certainly surpasses the Great Tao of Life. And the integration of both into the Great Tao of Life and Death is even more terrifying, but without a clear Tao guiding, progression is too slow. From the Godly King level secret techniques of the life and death path that Luo Feng has grasped, more than 10, yet not a single branch of the Tao has emerged, from which one could see the difficulty in pioneering a new path. One could foresee. Grasping the complete path of destruction would definitely be much easier than figuring out the complete Great Tao of Life and Death. The Blood Shadow Knife naturally suits carrying the path of destruction better. After imprinting the secret techniques, holding the Blood Shadow Knife, just a slight stimulation would allow one to execute 3 moves of the Chaos Whole 6 strikes. Luo Feng examined the Blood Shadow Knife. The requirements for spiritual will are much lower than. Weapons nurtured personally have their strengths right here. A perfect fit for oneself, executing moves with an extremely low burden on the spirit. Thus, in battle, the spiritual will can perform many other moves. P. With 1/10 of my world life form energy reserve, holding the Blood Shadow Knife, I could execute the Chaos Whole 6 strikes. I estimate its power could approach Brother Gui Shu, Brother Witch Heart, but there's no need. Luo Feng was clear. With multiple avatars, he could entangle the Emperor of Tiankuan. Some emperors and monarchs of the 2 ancient countries could still tolerate. But if it were at the first realm of Godly King, reaching the levels of Emperor Gui Shu, Wuxing God King, what those emperors and monarchs would think would be hard to say. Once my power progresses further, when I'm completely unafraid of any challenger in the land of origin, things will be much better. Under the guidance of a few special grade inheritances, Luo Feng had a clear direction to become fearless of any challenger on the land of origin. Multiple directions in parallel. The enhancement of the Tao is fundamental, but it needs to be achieved one step at a time, it cannot be rushed. Instead, my spiritual will has already reached its peak, and I could attempt to break through to beyond God King level during the first realm of Godly King stage. Luo Feng had this plan. In this era on the land of origin, 3 individuals whose spiritual will reached beyond God-King level are Emperor Qing and the Lord of 10,000 Realms, who both realized the complete Tao before their spiritual will break through. Emperor Ming was at the 2nd realm of Godly King stage, when his spiritual will reached beyond God-King level. But as a perfect divine body, his soul's foundation surpasses the contemporary ones, much thicker than Emperor Ming's. With a far more profound base, coupled with Yuan's Lai Yuan technique, Luo Feng himself believed, during the 1st realm of God King he could attempt to challenge and reach a breakthrough. Among the treasures Yuan left behind, the dream domain was most suited for practicing the great destruction heart refining technique. Luo Feng was quite interested in the treasure dream domain. This time, I'll take 1/10 of the world life form energy reserve. Luo Feng willed it. A huge part of the world life form immediately divided into 1/10 of its energy reserve, transforming into a silver-clad Luo Feng image. With so much energy reserve, it was enough for Luo Feng to create numerous avatars. Entering the dream domain this time could also allow me to take root in the dream domain, using its environment to cultivate the great destruction heart refining technique. Luo Feng was quite looking forward to it, as Yuan's treasures vary greatly. Likewise, Qianhe, especially suited for cultivators with primordial bloodline of water attributes. But Luo Feng had no interest at all. The dream domain, mysterious and enigmatic, nurtures all kinds of bizarre and exotic rarities. However, the deeper the dream domain, the greater the influence on the mind, even running the risk of delving too deep and falling into a sleep-like trance, potentially never waking up. But Luo Feng liked such an environment. 3 days later, the towering giant Huang Yao Mountain, spanning tens of trillions of kilometers, the convener of this mission, Emperor Gui Shu, had already arrived. Dressed in blue armor and an aged face, Emperor Gui Shu stood atop the mountain peak, waiting. Brother Gui Shu, a woman in black cloud sky god king arrived. Members of the reincarnation tower would always conceal their presence and change their appearances. Cloud sky god king's aura was now reined in, utterly ordinary. The 2 of them have also arrived. Emperor Gui Shu looked into the distance. 2 figures arrived one after the other. One clad in a mask, tall and thin. The other in black scale armor and golden horns. Is this brother Luo He? Emperor Gui Shu, Cloud Sky God King, and Wuxin God King all looked at Luo Feng's disguised form with a smile, the 3 of them familiar with each other, but seeing Luo Feng in disguise for the first time. How does it feel? Luo Feng smiled, his transformed appearance borrowing some traits of the golden-horned giant beast. Quite different from usual indeed, Wuxin God King commented from the side. Brother Luo He, your previous physical body had a very strong life aura. But this one now contains an aura of destruction. Luo Feng thought to himself, formless and intangible, naturally, he could change as he wished. Land of origin, many are skilled in the path of destruction. Emperor Gui Shu also nodded. There are quite a few with the clone technique. The supreme rules encompass only 9 origin great Taos, each exploring some godly kings cultivating them, but there is also a difference in numbers. Time primordial Tao has the fewest cultivators among godly kings. Then like causality, extreme point, infinite, these 3 Taos are quite challenging to master, with fewer cultivating godly kings. Space, matter, world, life, destruction, these are relatively easy to start with more cultivating godly kings. But in terms of the most number of cultivators, it's undoubtedly the great Tao of destruction origin. After all, everyone would study methods of killing during their growth. Wuxin, it'd be troublesome for you to lead us in, said Emperor Gui Shu. All right. Wuxin God King responded. Hum. An invisible force instantly enveloped the 4 present, making them feel the flow of energy, as they perfectly merged with the operation of the laws between heaven and earth. This? Luo Feng was somewhat stunned. They were clearly still in the same place, but light, spatial fluctuations, and sensory perceptions all ignored them, and even causality was blurred. All probing methods of the laws of heaven and earth were being blurred. No wonder the flame-wind ancient country tried to kill Wuxin God King several times, even deploying emperors, yet he always escaped. In the end, it was he who chose to reincarnate. Luo Feng realized how terrifying this escape technique was. Let's go. Wuxin God King winked at Luo Feng, showing off his escape technique. Whoosh! In an instant, the four of them tunneled through heaven and earth, and in a trance, they had crossed half of the land of origin. The entrance to the dream domain is just ahead, Wuxin God King said as he looked ahead. Before them lay a dark canyon, its darkness profound, swallowing all light and perception, making it difficult for even a godly king to probe inside. The structure of the dream domain entrance is unique, making it impossible to set up a stable formation. Wuxin God King explained with a smile. However, the two ancient countries have sent godly kings with mobile formations to envelop the entrance. Luo Feng was the only one among them who had never entered, and clearly, Wuxin God King was explaining for his benefit. In a moment, I will try to enter from a spot, and most likely they won't detect me. If discovered, we'll have to take action, Wuxin God King said with a grin. Wuxin and I will take action if needed, Emperor Gui Shu stated. Whoosh! Luo Feng and the other three immediately flew into the dark canyon. Hum! The moment they flew in, Luo Feng felt an invisible force tugging at his spiritual will, but with the strength of his will, he naturally resisted easily. This was a gloomy world, where the world itself was floating and distorting under the influence of an invisible and vast formation. This vast area at the entrance of the dream domain is occupied by the two ancient countries, and they are using it to blockade the entrance, Wuxin God King said as they tunneled slowly to avoid detection. The two formations from the two countries complement each other, intercepting all who try to enter. Luo Feng secretly marveled. The dream domain, left by Yuan, set no threshold, yet entering it remained incredibly difficult. Luo Feng spotted a majestic, white figure sitting cross-legged in the distance. That figure possessed a vast aura, and was a node of a giant formation. Engaging with him would trigger the entire formation's retaliation. It's from the Thunder Ancient Country's imperial clan, observed Wuxin God King briefly. It seems this area is blocked by the Thunder Ancient Country. He's guarding a rare treasure, Cloud Sky God King transmitted the message. Luo Feng also saw it. In front of the figure sitting cross-legged, there was indeed a black fruit tree growing, with exactly 666 fruits on it, obviously not yet fully matured. The rare treasures in the area of the dream domain entrance belong to the two ancient countries. There's no need to fight them here. Let's go deeper. The deeper we go, the better the treasures, Wuxin God King said. The formation of the Thunder Ancient Country, though restrained, still left Wuxin God King cautious. After flying for a long time, rumble tilde 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 tilde. Golden chains streaked across the void, covering the vast area, meticulously sealing and inspecting every location. We've now entered the area covered by the flame-wind ancient country's formation, Wuxin God King said, familiar with the area. Usually, the two ancient countries fight fiercely, but when it comes to blockading the entrance to the dream domain, they directly join forces. Their greed is too unsightly, Emperor Gui Shu also remarked, forcing the independent godly kings to unite. Luo Feng nodded. Completely blockaded, giving no chance at all. If Luo Feng were to act alone, he simply couldn't breach the dual-heavy formations of the two ancient countries. Of course, this time, all four were acting together, seamlessly tunneling along the way, undetected by both formations, including the few royal family godly kings they encountered by chance. Because the flying speed was relatively slow, it took a full half-day to completely fly out of this vast area, at the entrance to the Dream Domain. Out of their formation range, Wuxin God King chuckled, how about that? What can the two ancient countries do? They couldn't detect my tunneling technique at all. Impressive, Luo Feng exclaimed. Brother Wuxin's tunneling technique is the most impressive one I've seen, Cloud Sky God King also praised. Ha ha, Wuxin God King laughed joyously. Luo Feng, having had the chance to see the operation of the supreme rules, could better appreciate the terrifying aspect of Wuxin God King's tunneling technique, which seemed to tunnel into the operation of the supreme rules itself. This tunneling technique of Wuxin is actually the ultimate realm secret technique, hidden sky tunneling technique, Emperor Gui Shu said. In the entire land of origin, there aren't many whose tunneling technique can match Wuxin's. Luo Feng marveled. For a second realm godly king to grasp an ultimate realm secret technique was extremely difficult. Of course, like Master Emperor Chu, he had also achieved this, having to comprehend the ultimate realm life form secret technique. After comprehending it and using many precious treasures, he could cultivate into an ultimate realm life form. Next, we'll first enter the middle layer of the Dream Domain, then we'll need Luo his help to scout the way, Emperor Gui Shu said, looking at Luo Feng. Leave it to me, Luo Feng said with full confidence, carrying with him 1/10 of a world life form's energy reserve, enough to split into numerous avatars. Buzz. Wuxin God King used an escape technique, and since there were no ancient country formations to hamper their speed, they moved quickly. It was as if passing through bubbles, swiftly moving through one distinct space after another. According to the intelligence, the Dream Domain seems to be a congregation of numerous bubbles, each a separate space with its own operating rules, creatures, and treasures, Luo Feng mused to himself. Exploring the Dream Domain was like treasure hunting. The Dream Domain, we divided it into the outer, middle, and deep layers, as well as the dark region, Emperor Gui Shu said. The deeper you go into the Dream Domain, the greater the impact on the spiritual will. In the outer layer, the will of First Realm Godly King can remain clear-headed. In the middle layer, the will of Second Realm Godly King can stay alert, but in the deep layer, one must have the will of Ultimate Realm God King. As for the dark region, only a will beyond the Godly King's level can explore it. There are only a few in the entire land of origin who possess such spiritual will. We shall mainly explore the middle layer, Wuxin God King stated. All four of us possess the will of the Ultimate Realm God King, Emperor Gui Shu added. Luo he is fine, but the three of us also need to distract ourselves by suppressing the residual will of the primordial bloodline. Once we enter the deep layer, it's easy to lose control. Luo Feng nodded. All three companions cultivated the primordial bloodline, and all possessed the will of the Ultimate Realm God King. It was normal for Emperor Gui Shu and Wuxin God King to have the will of the Ultimate Realm God King. But for Cloud Sky God King, being an invincible at the first realm of Godly King, and having the will of the Ultimate Realm God King was truly rare, which was one of the reasons she was invited into the Reincarnation Tower. Before Luo Feng, she was the only First Realm Godly King to be recruited. Another reason for her recruitment was that she had excavated the primordial bloodline to an exceedingly high degree. Originally with the will of Second Realm Godly King, she instantly lost control and caused a great disaster. Later, amidst the torment of alternately being lucid and losing control, her spiritual will finally transformed, breaking through to the will of the Ultimate Realm. Only then could she stay clear-headed all the time. We've reached the middle layer. In casual conversation, Wuxin God King had already led the team to a space within the middle layer of the Dream Domain. This was a space even darker than the outer layer, vast and filled with countless plants. At a glance, it looked like a mountain forest world. As the intelligence recorded, the deeper into the Dream Domain, the darker it gets. The so-called dark region, that's total darkness. Only a will beyond God Kings can probe and explore by relying on spiritual power, Luo Feng felt the impact of the middle layer's spiritual will but was quite pleased. This influence was an all-encompassing penetration of the spirit, making the cultivator unconsciously fall into it. Training the Great Destruction Heart refining technique, under the influence of the dream domain's infiltration, the pressure on the spirit will definitely be greater, and the effect would be better. Luo Feng was quite satisfied. Brother Luo He, please check our surroundings, Emperor Gui Shu requested. Steer clear of areas with too many creatures from the dream domain, Wuxin God King said. They're not easy to provoke. Don't worry. Luo Feng grinned slightly. Whoosh! Instantly, he split into 9 black scale-armored avatars that flew off in all directions to start carefully exploring this space in the middle layer. There are many spaces in the middle layer, and according to the history of exploration in the land of origin, there are likely tens of thousands. Moreover, as time passes, these spaces continue to change, completely transforming after 1 or 2 eras until unrecognizable from their past appearance. So, past maps and intelligence are useless, and each time one must explore on site. Middle layer creatures of the dream domain are, as described, bizarre and vary greatly in strength. The weaker ones are just ordinary godly kings. The strongest may even reach the ultimate realm level, but generally, they possess low intelligence and clumsy moves. Luo Feng's 9 avatars all continued their exploration. One of the avatars flew around a forest, carefully sensing and observing all directions. He also unleashed his formless and intangible abilities, completely hiding his presence similar to ordinary rocks and trees. What is that? Luo Feng caught sight of a dazzling light in the distance and flew closer to get a clear view. It was a fiery red tree with only 1 fruit on it, shining with endless light and wobbling as it emitted laughter. Luo Feng could feel the attraction, just hearing the laugh. It's this fruit emitting the light. Luo Feng felt the draw of the fruit. It seems much stronger than the primordial crystal spirit fruit. No dangers around this fruit. Luo Feng carefully scouted, drawing closer at the same time. If there's truly no obstruction, take it and run. Just as Luo Feng was meticulously scouting. Huh! Suddenly a massive eye opened in the distant sky, and for the first time, Luo Feng saw a vague head. The head was unimaginably large. Boom! A terrifying invisible force instantly descended upon Luo Feng's body. Luo Feng felt only the crushing dominance of an absolute power, and this clone, which possessed roughly 1,000th of the energy reserves, was instantly crushed into nothingness. So weak. The giant eye in the sky closed again, ready to continue its slumber, then suddenly looked puzzledly in that direction once more. In the region that was supposed to be obliterated, an invisible energy reformed and the avatar coalesced again. Run! Ultimate realm creatures from the dream domain. Luo Feng truly hadn't expected to encounter such beings. The strongest in the middle area of the dream domain was supposed to be at the ultimate level of the godly kings, on his very first exploration. That destructive power was simply irresistible. Whoosh! No sooner had Luo Feng begun to escape than a vast and terrifying force bore down on him, and this time Luo Feng discerned it clearly. It was a blurred, gigantic hand pressing down like the sky itself. Smack! Luo Feng's body was obliterated once again by the strike. However, as a world life form, every fraction of his strength was imbued with endless life spirituality, possessing boundless vitality, like the source of life itself, naturally absorbing energy from the void and condensing once again. How interesting, mused the giant eye, somewhat bewildered, observing Luo Feng curiously as it kept swinging its immense palm, time and again. With every reformation, Luo Feng frantically attempted to flee, each time escaping billions of kilometers in an instant. After 7 consecutive strikes, the massive hand finally ceased its assault, as Luo Feng had managed to leave the range of its slumber, and it couldn't be bothered to chase anymore. It's not pursuing me anymore. Looking back, Luo Feng's avatar felt a sense of relief. My avatar was destroyed 7 times in a row. I'm lucky that its power, though terrifying, wasn't too damaging. If it had been his master, Emperor Chu, an ultimate realm life form of the great Tao of destruction origin, every move infused with various destructive capabilities, probably just 2 or 3 smacks would have been the end of him. This avatar still has about 30 to 40% of its energy left, Luo Feng thought to himself. These creatures of the dream domain, they can't leave their own space. But they are unreasonably powerful. It's a mystery how Yuan created them. An intruder. No less than 15 stone monsters, each as strong as a godly king in the second realm, frantically pursued Luo Feng's avatar, who could only flee desperately. Roar. As Luo Feng flew past a lake, a beast within suddenly roared with a gaping maw, drawing him in uncontrollably and swallowing him into its belly. After spending quite some time in the monster's stomach, Luo Feng executed the Chaos Whole 6 strikes with various moves, until the creature, unable to digest him, regurgitated him. Luo Feng immediately made a swift escape. No wonder Wuxin God King was so pleased to have me join in. It's always been him paving the way. Luo Feng realized how challenging it was to scout the dream domain. Even Wuxin God King, with his hidden sky tunneling technique, often had to beat a hasty retreat when faced with the terrible creatures of the dream domain. In the middle layer of the dream domain, amidst the mountains and forests, Wuxin God King, Emperor Gui Shu, Cloud Sky God King, and Luo Feng were gathered. "Brother Luo He, you've been through a lot. Come, have a drink," said Wuxin God King, as he pulled out some fine wine he'd brought along, pouring a cup generously. "Scouting is tough, isn't it? Previously, it was always me paving the way. Neither Gui Shu nor Yun Tian's sister have the skill to scout." "It's not easy," Luo Feng acknowledged to himself, thinking his techniques were quite formidable, yet scouting was still a clumsy affair. Dream domain creatures all live in their own spaces and generally don't leave their position easily, said Emperor Gui Shu, chiming in. "They seem to have low intelligence and appear to coexist with their space. If they were smarter, we wouldn't have a chance to hunt for treasures," added Wuxin God King. The 4 of them drank and joked around, while Luo Feng's 9 avatars had a hard time. "I found a place where a treasure lies," Luo Feng suddenly spoke up. One of the 9 avatars he had sent out had come across a discovery. "Oh?" The eyes of Wuxin God King, Emperor Gui Shu, and Cloud Sky God King all lit up with interest. "There are 9 dream domain creatures around the treasure, 3 of which are at the second realm of the godly king level, with another 6 weaker ones," Luo Feng disclosed. Dream domain creatures did not know how to conceal their aura, making it easy to judge their strength. "We can take action." Wuxin God King laughed heartily. "Brother Luo He, your scouting is impressive. So quick to find a treasure. Let's go, let's hurry, Brother Luo He, lead the way." With that, Luo Feng, Wuxin God King, Emperor Gui Shu, and Cloud Sky God King immediately set off together. At that moment, another team had also arrived in the middle layers mountain and forest space of the dream domain. "This is the 7th space we've explored in the middle layer of the dream domain," declared the team of 7 powerful beings, led by a figure with short white hair, who, despite radiating the weakest aura of the Chaos Realm, was clearly the team's leader. "This space," the short-haired white figure surveyed the surroundings, "has 3 powerful presences, clearly indicating the space has birthed 3 ultimate realm creatures. There are also 7 other areas likely inhabited by large dream domain creature clans that we should also avoid." A map materialized in the air, with 10 perilous locations clearly marked out. "Juyu, steer clear of these 10 areas. Carefully examine everywhere else," the white-haired figure commanded. "Yes, Palace Master," a winged woman responded as shadows flew from her body, her many avatars dispersing in all directions to start scouting. The Palace Master of 2 Realms Palace, who came from beyond the land of origin. Even if he was suppressed by the supreme rules, limiting the power of his techniques to the Chaos Realm's maximum, his realm was exceedingly high. With his leadership, members of the Two Realms Palace could easily slip in, completely undetected by the two ancient countries. He would also bestow powerful secret treasure weapons, and many treasures he simply did not care for, naturally attracting many ancient beings to join the Two Realms Palace. Luo Feng led the way, and Wuxin God King used the hidden sky tunneling technique to bring the team nearby. Look! Luo Feng looked into the distance, where several swaying purple flowers in the distance emitted specks of purple light, which held a strong attraction for cultivators like them. These treasures produced by the Dream Realm can greatly benefit life within the braided cage, Emperor Gui Shu observed. These are the relatively common Purple Heart Realm flowers, each worth 3 million merit points. From a distance, there are a total of 7 Purple Heart Realm flowers. The value of treasures on the land of origin is assessed based on the merit points of the two ancient countries. Where are the Dream Realm creatures? Asked Wuxin God King. Over there, Luo Feng pointed into the distance. Those ordinary-looking trees around the flowers are actually plant life forms. If we get close, we'll be attacked by 9 plant life forms. Luo Feng pointed out the 9 inconspicuous big trees. Dealing with them isn't hard, but we need to be careful not to damage the treasures. As we agreed earlier, Yun Tian, show your poison fog, Brother Wuxin and I will make a move. Brother Luo He, you protect these treasures, commanded Emperor Gui Shu. Wuxin, Yun Tian, and Luo Feng all nodded. Luo Feng knew very well that, in terms of the intricacy of techniques, he was far inferior to Wuxin God King and Emperor Gui Shu. His advantage lay in having multiple avatars and being resilient. Hence, at critical moments, he could entangle Dream Realm creatures and protect the treasures as best as possible. Act now. Under the hidden sky tunneling technique, the 4 of them quickly approached the purple flowers. Tilde. Invisible rules began to ripple, revealing all 4 of their figures. Under the control of the rules of the 9 tree life forms, huge branches transformed into giant hands that enveloped them, while numerous tree roots burst from the ground, entwining towards Luo Feng and the others. In the Dream Realm, various treasures seem to be key to the operation of the realm itself. Approaching these treasures exposes any use of escape skills due to the Dream Realm's operational rules. Even alien beings from the Two Realms Palace, the One Far Tower, and the time-space Lonely Boat would be forced to reveal themselves when near the treasures. Luo Feng, though it was his first time in the Dream Realm, already felt the operational rules within it. The Dream Realm's operational rules are unique, starkly different from the supreme rules of the land of origin. The Dream Realm's rules are not as impeccable as the supreme rules of the land of origin. But they are also of a very high level, far beyond the reach of lives within the braided cage. The 9 tree life forms, with 3 of them being mightier than the Emperor of Tien Kuan, and the other 6 possessing the invincible standard of the first realm of Godly King, were relatively clumsy and low in intelligence. This was a common trait among all Dream Realm creatures. At this moment, the 9 tree life forms were being eroded invisibly. The bodies of these life forms started to show signs of erosion, with the weaker 6 ones almost immediately riddled with numerous holes, while the strong 3 also suffered great reductions in strength. What a terrifying poison! Luo Feng was shocked by this scene. I heard this poison not only erodes the physical body, but also the soul. That godly king from the imperial clan of Thunder God Country was struck by the poison, his soul extinguished instantly, dying completely before he could reincarnate. This was Cloud Sky God King. Her poison was not part of any poison under the supreme rules. Instead, it was a terrifying poison unearthed from the primordial bloodline that even life forms below the ultimate realm dreaded. including Emperor Gui Shu and Wuxin God King, who also had to be very careful in dealing with it. Invisible and colorless, one cannot see how it is deployed, but all these dream realm creatures are affected. Luo Feng understood why the reincarnation tower would make an exception to recruit a godly king in the first realm. Voom. 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 3 terrifying bolts of lightning struck the 3 mighty tree life forms, instantly leaving them severely damaged. Emperor Gui Shu revealed 8 arms, each arm wielding weapons of immense power. With simultaneous strikes from 8 arms, in the blink of an eye, the 3 damaged tree life forms were completely shattered and obliterated. Wuxin God King was even faster, with just 6 strikes of his sword. He killed the 6 weaker tree life forms whose strength had been greatly diminished. Luo Feng, meanwhile, used the power of the world to protect the treasures and prepared to block any impacts with his physical body. Fortunately, Emperor Gui Shu and Wuxin God King were both efficient and did not affect the nearby plants. Emperor Gui Shu, the intelligence reports, say he cultivated the origin Tao of matter. But his 8 arms are capable of unleashing 8 different attacks including thunder, blood light, fire, and water rays, and their combination is too much even for the second realm of godly king to withstand. Luo Feng could sense the terror of this combined assault. In terms of strength, he could fight on equal terms with a mighty plant life form, one-on-one. But to destroy it, Luo Feng couldn't do that. Emperor Gui Shu's overwhelming power, even though it was assisted by the poison from Cloud Sky God King, still astonished Luo Feng. Not surprisingly, he was someone who, despite relinquishing a secret treasure, was able to reincarnate even after a long-prepared joint attack from 3 emperors. And what he was demonstrating now were probably just some ordinary techniques, not his desperate killing moves. It's been relatively easy, Emperor Gui Shu said with a smile, observing the purple flowers. These 7 purple heart realm flowers are of good quality. Wuxin, you do the picking. Wuxin God King nodded. Luo Feng and Cloud Sky God King watched on. This had all been agreed upon beforehand. Among the 4 of them, Wuxin God King had the strongest survival capabilities, and was the most suitable to carry the treasures. They would distribute them after exiting the dream realm. According to the earlier agreement, Emperor Gui Shu and Wuxin God King would each take 35%, Luo He, for leading the way, would take 20%, and Cloud Sky God King would take 10%. In the harsh environment of the dream realm, leading the way was extremely important. Should someone contribute significantly during the process, they would discuss afterwards and adjust the distribution ratio. Wuxin God King was very adept, picking all 7 purple heart realm flowers. Then he smiled at Luo Feng and said, "Brother Luo He, the number of treasures we will get depends on how many you can find." "I'm already trying hard to find them," Luo Feng replied. His 9 avatars were risking danger, scouting various areas. Time passed. Luo Feng and his team were highly efficient, unraveling the location of treasures every day or 2 on average. These treasures were of great aid even to the second realm of godly king, and they were all very valuable. Luo Feng was in excellent spirits. According to the 20% share agreement, each time he could earn at least 1,000,000 merit points, which was much faster than the earnings from the missions as a guest elder in Flame Wind Ancient Country. Emperor Gui Shu, Wuxin God King, and Cloud Sky God King were quite composed about it since they were already accustomed to it. For someone like Emperor Gui Shu, earning hundreds of millions of merit points in one visit to the Dream Realm was quite ordinary. Of course, if one miscalculated and their true body died here, the loss would be immense. Emperor Gui Shu and Cloud Sky God King had both experienced true body deaths in their ventures across various treasure sites, a misfortune that had befallen them more than once. However, they had already extracted part of their primordial bloodline from their true bodies and safely stored it in the outside world, merely requiring enough treasured nurturing items for them to cultivate back to form. Other than the time Wuxin God King deliberately died for a rebirth cycle, he indeed had never died on a treasure adventure. In this space, the share allocated to me already exceeds 10 million merit points in treasure. According to the plan, we are set to explore 5 dream realm spaces in the middle layer, thought Luo Feng. The more spaces explored, the higher the likelihood of accidents. An accident could arise either from the dream realm itself or from other cultivators. The 5 spaces were chosen by Emperor Gui Shu and the others based on past experiences. Luo Feng estimated that exploring these 5 spaces should garner him hundreds of millions of merit points in treasure. This was the type of resource that truly powerful beings from the land of origin valued. Compared to these treasure sites, the appeal of commanding a territory seemed much less significant. It was only the ordinary godly kings, walkers, disciples, and clan members under their command who were more in need of territories. The team from Two Realms Palace was also exploring this forest space. The white-haired palace master suddenly looked up into the distance. The other 6 second realm godly kings in the team turned their gazes toward the palace master, trusting in his capabilities. How interesting. After locking onto a trace of aura, the white-haired palace master looked into the distance, his gaze following the trail of the aura through an endless expanse, seeing Luo Feng's team in action. It's the team from Reincarnation Tower, and one of them is Gui Shu, said the white-haired palace master with a smile. In the treasure realms, identities were concealed so that even if someone acquired a precious treasure, the land of origin would not know the actual identity of the powerful being who obtained it. But Emperor Gui Shu didn't care. He couldn't be publicly recognized in the outside world, either. Reincarnation Tower. Them again. The 6 second realm godly kings behind all harbored hostility. Although the members of Reincarnation Tower were few, they had clashed over treasures time and again, and Two Realms Palace had often found themselves on the losing end, which naturally led to growing animosity. Since we've encountered our old friends from the Reincarnation Tower, we should obviously present them with a gift, said the white-haired palace master. That group of dream realm creatures we found earlier is extremely protective. Juyu, go capture one creature from that group and lead the whole dream realm creature tribe to the Reincarnation Tower team's location. First, let the dream realm creature tribe severely weaken them, then we'll make our move and wipe them out in one fell swoop, killing as many true bodies as possible, the white-haired palace master said, his eyes cold. He united the Two Realms Palace members. Yet for those outside of the Two Realms Palace, and other forces vying for treasures, he had never been merciful. Palace Master, leave it to me, the winged woman said excitedly. This Reincarnation Tower team probably has explored several dream realm spaces, and should have a considerable haul. If we kill their true bodies, we might obtain some treasures. Last time, they destroyed my true body. One by one, they were filled with hostility. Luo Feng and the other 3 were enjoying wine and delicious food by a lake. Of course, Luo Feng's 9 avatars continued treasure hunting. This forest space should yield a few more treasures, and then we'll have about enough, said Emperor Gui Shu. Then we can move on to the next dream realm space. Yes, Luo Feng nodded. The easier to obtain treasures have all been taken. The next ones are indeed guarded more securely, some by ultimate realm dream realm creatures, some by vast tribes of dream realm creatures. Wuxin God King suddenly frowned and turned his head to look into the distance. Emperor Gui Shu, Cloud Sky God King, and Luo Feng also became alert, although their sensing capabilities were nowhere near that of Wuxin God King. Whoosh! Suddenly, a winged woman holding a stone monster emerged from the void, charging straight at Luo Feng and his colleagues. Two Realms Palaces. Although they couldn't be sure of the winged woman's real identity, Her current disguise was something Emperor Gui Shu and the others had seen many times. "I'm bringing you a gift," the winged woman sneered. Boom. As the winged woman, bearing the stone monster, came near where Emperor Gui Shu and the others were, they seemed to encounter an invisible fluctuation, and suddenly exploded into fine dust. Rumble tilde tilde tilde, one after another, towering stone monsters appeared from the void, followed by smaller ones. At a glance, there were hundreds of stone monsters swarming the scene. These stone monsters stood in mid-air, with tears streaming down, then turned hateful gazes on the four, Luo Feng and his companions, as their fury made the whole world start to bleed red, sending chills down their spines. In the far distance, the Two Realms Palace team watched on, led by their palace master, who was using a secret technique to observe the scene. This video will end here.